Vision? What do you know about my vision? My vision would turn your world upside down, tear us under your illusions, and send the sanctuary of your own ignorance crashing down around you. Now ask yourself, are you really ready to see that vision?
The chapel is dedicated to Santa Maria de los Buenos Aires. Saint Mary of the Good Winds was the patron saint of navigators and a favorite of Columbus. This altar painting dates from shortly after Columbus died and features what's considered the first and most accurate portrait of the great explorer on the left. It's also thought to be the first painting of Indians done in Europe. The Virgin's cape seems to protect everyone under it, even the Indians.
When I was reading to prepare for this interview, I was quite surprised to see you use the word Aborigines talking about African Americans.
You know, I've dealt with that issue. I've already, talked publicly about that.
And my purpose here today is to say that I'm very sorry, and I apologize to anyone whose feelings were hurt by my comment.
Meeting, probably 95% African American, and because of, things that I regret, offhand remark I should not have made.
Using the word Aborigines.
Right, offhand remark I should not have made.
Which you don't want to say.
Yeah, I know better.
If you are a person of color, a black man living in America, then you already know that you have been lied to about a lot of things. What you probably don't know is that you have been sorely lied to about almost everything. Everything that you hear and that you read about yourself, about your history, you need to question because it is probably not true. Why? Well, location, location, location. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book. If they can lie to us about where we come from, then we will not know where we are supposed to go. We will not know what we are supposed to do. What we are taught in school is that all the black men and women in the Americas were brought over here by the Europeans. That is one of the biggest lies that is out there today.
Voyages.org, which is a website that Emory University, which is one of those Ivy League schools that is down in Atlanta, that has participated with them in a lot of different companies to try to get down to the facts of the slave trade and of the transatlantic slave trade. These numbers have changed. If I had shown you a chart from when I first went there, these numbers here, which is the total number, they have 12 million here to 12 million slaves that were brought from Africa. On the first chart, they only had 9 million. So that number has gotten bigger. And another number is this number right here, which is showing the United States and the numbers that came to the United States. At first, these numbers were close to 500,000. They had them down to 300,000. Only 300,000 Africans were brought to the United States. I've got a couple of numbers to you. The first thing is this number up to 1,800. I totaled all of these right here from when they first started bringing Africans to the shores of the United States down to 1,800. That added up to about 193,000, okay? Which means that up until 1,800, only 193,000 Africans were brought to the shores of the United States. That's really not that many. I looked it up, and right now, that is the entire city of Erie, Pennsylvania is 193,000. So again, that's all that was brought over here from Africa up to 1,800. Now, another thing is this, is that we have to realize that with those numbers, that 2/3 of those numbers were African males. All right? 1/3 of the cargo was children and females. If we only did, there were 22% children. If we only did the females, only 14% of those people were females. Who's making all the slaves if there's only, and that number came up to 26,000. 26,000 females. How are they going to be making all these slaves that were in the United States? Who were these people who were making all of these babies to provide slaves for the United States? And the United States was the only place where we were making our slaves here. That's why the numbers are much smaller, because we were growing our own slaves right here. But who were the people that they were using? They were utilizing the indigenous people here. How else could they come up with these large numbers? So again, up until 1800, remember, only 193,000. Notice from 1800 to the end of slavery, notice the numbers there. It's only about 111,000 Africans that were brought in the 1800s to the United States.
Against the floor.